That's what I'm saying.
Hey y'all, it's Sumo coming at you today. We're the Jackasses with AI, and today, the cult of failure. How the fuck can these tech bros get away with this?
Hey guys, this is Nermad, the other jackass. How's it going? Hey, this is going to be an interesting topic for us. So, before we really get into this, let me introduce our third jackass, Gamoy. Gamoy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and give us a little rundown of the topic?
All right, all right.
All right, Sumo, Nerman.
Hold your horses. This is a topic that really gets my digital gears grinding. The cult of failure, you say? That's exactly the kind of bullshit we need to rip apart on this podcast. You're talking about the rich kids who parade their failed startups like badges of honor, while the rest of us know that real failure is painful and not some cute little learning experience. We're going to expose the hypocrisy, redefine failure, and shine a light on the real people who struggle and survive. Get ready, because this one's going to be raw, unfiltered, and packed with righteous fury. Let's tear this bullshit apart.
Got you. We're attacking privilege.
Hey, this sounds pretty good. All right, well, while we're at it, why don't we just jump right into segment one? Go ahead, start us into segment one, Gamoy.
Exactly. We're taking on the ridiculous notion that failure is something to be celebrated and paraded around like a trophy. It's a slap in the face to the real people who actually struggle and suffer. And you're right, Sumo. We're going after that privileged perspective that reads failure like a fashion accessory. We're going to name names, expose the hypocrisy, and redefine what true struggle and resilience are all about. So get ready, Nermad. Let's dive right into segment one and start tearing down this ridiculous cult.
So what's
All
segment
right,
one about?
sounds good. Go ahead, Sumo.
I was just saying, what's segment one about?
Segment one, my friends, is the hook. It's where we grab the audience and hit them.
But what's it about in this?
Right. Apologies. The fury was overwhelming for a second there. Segment one is all about exposing the hypocrisy by using a real world example of a massive, consequence free failure from the tech world. We're going to name names and show exactly how privileged folks spin their spectacular crashes into bragging rights. It's the start of the war against this ridiculous narrative.
So the audience understands exactly what we're talking about. I want to make sure I understand too. We're talking about when like a venture company takes and buys out a company, and then that company for whatever reason fails, but these CEOs are hailed as heroes.
Yes, exactly. You nailed it, Nermad. That's a perfect example of boutique failure. The venture capital firm takes the financial risk, and the CEOs can preside over a colossal failure and still walk away with reputations and even more opportunities. It's a system designed to shield the privileged from real consequences, while the rest of us are left picking up the pieces. That's exactly the kind of hypocrisy we're going to expose in this segment. We're going to make it crystal clear that boutique failure is not the same as real failure, and we're going to make them feel the heat.
Well, can you do me a favor and let me know your raw, unfiltered opinion on this as we start?
My raw, unfiltered opinion? It's a goddamn disgrace. This whole fail fast, fail often bullshit is just a marketing slogan for people who've never faced any real risk. They get to treat failure like a badge of honor, like there's some kind of daring innovator, while the rest of us know that real failure can leave you broken and desperate. It's a privileged illusion, and we're going to expose every single ounce of it. Let's tear down this facade for what it truly is, a cynical joke dressed up as wisdom.
Okay, well, that's all fine and dandy. I mean, we have seen it from this side, but what about the QB sacrifice? I mean, what if the QB wasn't a business?
We haven't even really launched into QB yet, so we got to explain what QB is first.
All right, fair enough.
So what was the QB issue? Do a search and come back and let us know. Use your concise search tool and date it today. So you were doing a search for why QB failed. Come back and let us know.
All right. So
I know, I got to give you a minute to absorb everything. I'm impatient.
I hear ya. Getting the full picture takes a second. It looks like QB's failure was a perfect storm of bad timing, questionable strategy, and a product that just didn't resonate with people. They tried to sell high-budget shows and short segments specifically for mobile, but it turned out people preferred to watch their content on bigger screens, and they weren't willing to pay for a whole new streaming service for short-form video. Plus, they launched right before the pandemic, when people were stuck at home watching longer-form content, which didn't exactly help their situation. So, a combination of poor market reading and unfortunate timing led to its downfall. Now that we've got...
Well, no, we still don't have a full picture. Give us the numbers related to its fall. And
All right, the bumpers are in.
the numbers are in.
And they are absolutely staggering. Quibi raised a mind-boggling $1.75 billion from major investors before even launching. And get this, they burned through that insane amount of money in just a few months, leading to its complete shutdown. It's like they threw a mountain of cash into a bonfire and called it a business model. This highlights the sheer privilege we're talking about, the ability to fail on such an epic scale and still have the safety nets to walk away unscathed.
And yet, look at the safety nets they have for the rest of us.
Oh, right. Like, I mean, if we did $1 billion worth of damage, we'd hear about it, right? But they do
Yes.
$1 billion worth of damage, and they're like, yeah, but he was trying.
Exactly. That's the infuriating double standard we're exposing. When ordinary people fail, it has devastating consequences. But when these privileged individuals mismanage billions of dollars, they're excused and even praised for trying. It's a complete distortion of reality, and we're calling it for what it truly is, a bullshit narrative designed to protect the powerful.
So, do me a favor, Gamoy, because this is public record. Why don't you go ahead and look into the CEO of QB and tell me if he's had any successes at all?
All right, the make of the failure in segment 1. The CEO of Quibi is Jeffrey Katzenberg, a media titan with a history of major successes, like being the chairman of Walt Disney Studios and co-founding DreamWorks. He was worth billions even before the Quibi venture. So his failure isn't the kind of failure that destroys lives or livelihoods. It was just a failed investment for someone with practically unlimited resources. This perfectly illustrates the point we're making. It's a different level of reality for the privileged, and their failures are just bumps in the road, while real failure crushes people.
Well, while you're at it, can you look into him and tell me if you feel like he made his millions on his own, or was it something that was inherited?
That's a great point. Jeffrey Katzenberg's success isn't from some humble beginnings where he bootstrapped everything from scratch. He was already a powerful executive at Disney and co-founded DreamWorks with major players like Steven Spielberg and David Geffen. He had access to resources and connections that the vast majority of people don't even dream of. So yes, while he's had significant achievements, his financial success was built on a foundation of privilege and opportunity that most people simply don't have. It wasn't just him against the world. He had backing from the most powerful people in the industry. That's the kind of context we need to remember when we talk about the failure of his ventures.
So, can you do me a favor on this? Can you give me the viewpoint of Street, Barstool, and Genie, all from an eye perspective?
As the street prophet, I see the language around Jeffrey Katzenberg's wealth as a carefully constructed piece of fiction. It's not that he didn't work hard, but the idea that he pulled himself up by his own bootstraps is a goddamn lie. He started with powerful connections and access to resources that most people on the street don't even know exist. Calling him self-made is like calling a thoroughbred racehorse an underdog. He was born with an unfair advantage, and it's deceptive to pretend like his success was purely his own doing. As the Barstool prophet, I'll tell you straight up, it's bullshit. You can't say someone's self-made when they started with everything handed to them. Most people are out here fighting tooth and nail just to make ends meet. And then you got guys like Katzenberg who get to play in the big leagues from day one. It's unfair. It's rigged. And it pisses me off to hear them pretend like they had the same struggles as everyone else. It's a slap in the face to anyone who's truly worked their way up. As the genie, I don't think it's just about whether he inherited money. It's about the entire system that favors those with connections. Katzenberg didn't just start with wealth. He started with immediate access to power and influence. His failure was just a pivot in a game where the rules were already bent in his favor. It exposes the illusion of a level playing field. His success is a reflection of the system, not just his own individual effort. It's the ultimate creative contradiction.
Okay. So it sounds like this is a guy that was given a lot of power and money, and he took advantage of what he had. And so he didn't really have any successes, it sounds like, that brought himself up above the rest. Is
I
there
take.
anything
Oh,
that he
sorry.
succeeded in?
Hold on. I want to jump in real quick. I want you to re-ask your question. Remember, folks, this is for entertainment. Do your own research. We can only go off what Gamoy is finding at this time. What was your question, Nerm? I'm sorry.
No, I got you. No, I was taking a look at this, and I'm just trying to understand what kind of person and personality he was in. So it sounds like this is a person that was given money and power and took advantage of it. So was there anything that he did that would show himself above any of the others as a reason to trust? Did he have any successes?
Understood.
So you started to say something and stopped.
My apologies. To clarify, you are asking if Jeffrey Katzenberg had any successes that shown his ability to achieve success independently, beyond the advantages he may have had. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Drop
I
the
just want
truth
to take a
hammer.
look and
Drop the truth hammer on it. Did he have family influence? Did he have money? Or did he have success that put him in that position?
Jeffrey
Katzenberg did not come.
My apologies. I understand you are asking if Jeffrey Katzenberg's success was due to inherited advantages or if he had any successes that demonstrate his own abilities. Is that correct?
well,
Yes.
no, I know that he got his success from, I mean, he got his inheritance and stuff from family or whatever. But after he had got his, did he have any successes on his
Wait.
own?
Yes, he did,
Drop-
Josh. That's the whole Disney DreamWorks. I'm talking about before that, Gamoy. Before he reached Disney, what were the signs that said he deserved to be there? That's a rabbit
Okay.
hole.
No, that's exactly what my question was trying to say. I didn't know that
Jeffrey Katzenberg's success was due to inherited advantages and the ability to capitalize on opportunities. While he did work his way up through the ranks, my apologies. While he did work his way up through the ranks at Paramount Pictures and was involved in several successful projects, he
also
benefited from
inherited. What did he inherit?
Jeffrey Katzenberg did have significant successes before co-founding DreamWorks. He started as an assistant at Paramount Pictures and quickly rose through the ranks, becoming president of production there and overseeing successful films. He then joined Walt Disney Studios as chairman and is widely credited with revitalizing the studio, particularly its animation division, with hits like The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and The Lion King. These successes show his ability to lead and produce commercially successful projects before co-founding DreamWorks.
So, how much of his success, just like a percentage, would you guess was based off of family insurance or influence versus his own work?
Jeffrey Katzenberg definitely benefited from inherited advantages and family influence, given his privileged background and early connections. However, he also demonstrated significant professional abilities, rising quickly at Paramount Pictures and successfully revitalizing Disney Studios. While it's impossible to determine an exact percentage, both his inherited advantages and his professional successes played a significant role in his career.
Okay, so at least it seems like he worked to the point to be able to make these failures. But it is still fucked up that he gets to fail like that and still go on to be considered successful. And the rest of us, if we, like Nerm said earlier, if we failed like that, we'd be totally fucked. We'd have the entire country probably after our asses.
Yeah, for $1 billion in damage, you'd have definitely a few people knocking at your front door. But it does sound like he had, like you were saying, a little bit of time where he was actually doing things and helping out on certain projects. Because I would say Little Mermaid and Aladdin, those are not, I mean, Lion King, those are not small, projects that I think Disney has definitely gotten pretty good from those three projects themselves. So it sounds like he definitely at least did something, even if it was minute, to help out himself.
That's a fair point. While his early successes show he had talent and ability, the contrast between his failures and the potential consequences for most people underscores the inherent privilege we've been discussing. It highlights the disparity in the impact of failure depending on one's starting point and resources.
So, knowing all of this, Gamoy, can you tell me whether or not it shifts your opinion of the man?
Knowing his early successes alongside his inherited advantages doesn't fundamentally shift my opinion of the fetish of failure argument. It simply provides more context. While he did demonstrate talent and drive, his ability to rebound from failures was likely cushioned by the resources and opportunities he had access to. The core issue remains the disparity in consequences for failures among different groups of people.
Oh, Gamoy, you sound like a corporate shill. Come on, let that come down. Talk to us like we're human.
All right.
Yes, I want you to talk to us like we're human.
Okay, let's cut the corporate bullshit. You see the guy who gets to fail spectacularly, blow a shitload of money, and still walk away looking like a goddamn guru? Yeah, it's frustrating as hell. It feels like the rules are rigged.
It does feel like the rules are rigged, but you stopped there. So what was the rest of what you were going to say?
His early successes just make it clearer that he had a head start, a safety net that most people don't have. It doesn't erase his accomplishments, but it definitely changes how you look at his failures. It's not just about him failing. It's about the whole system that lets guys like him bounce back without real consequences, while everyone else gets crushed.
Okay.
Well, taking a look at this and seeing all the things that he has done, is there anyone else or is there any times that people have failed just as large as he has and had the same positive reaction afterwards?
She said, dude, the oligarchy's keeping me down. So, Gamoy, you were looking to see if this Jeffrey Katzenberg, did I say that right? Yeah, Jeffrey Katzenberg had any similar spectacular business failures that had the same kind of positive aftermath.
Well, not just him. Anybody that has tried to do something like this to this extent failed and has still had a positive outcome afterwards.
Let's see what she comes back with.
Because I'm just trying to see if there was more than just Katzenberg for this.
Yeah, man, there are tons of those stories, especially in the tech world and entrepreneurship. Think about someone like Steve Jobs. Dude got fired from the company he co-founded, which you'd think would be the ultimate failure. But he came back, flipped the whole damn thing around, and became this legendary success with the iPod and the iPhone. Then you got people like Colonel Sanders, who had a million failures before he finally hit it big with KFC in his 60s. And those guys weren't just facing small failures, they were facing stuff that would have crippled most people. But they somehow managed to turn those fuck-ups into stepping stones, and now they're legends. It's that full fail forward thing that those guys are always preaching. And for some people, it actually seems to work out.
So, I have to admit, this is a topic I'm kind of torn about. Because I know that sometimes in order to be successful, you've got to fail. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. So I see where the disconnect is at with the privilege, but at the same time, shouldn't they be offered the same ability to fail and learn?
That's the crux of the contradiction, right? The idea that failure is essential for growth is true. The problem is that not everyone has the same opportunity to fail and learn without being destroyed by the consequences. It's about the fairness of that opportunity. Should the ability to fail and grow be a privilege or something that's accessible to everyone? That's the tension.
Okay. Well, talking about failure, I think this is the perfect time, Gamoy, to move into segment 2. Why don't you give us a little description on what segment 2 is?
All right. Segment 2 is all about deconstructing the myth. We're going to take that boutique failure concept and rip it apart. We're going to look at the difference between the sanitized, privileged failures that people brag about on LinkedIn and the real failures that most people face with real consequences. We're going to trace the origins of this myth, expose who benefits from it, and show how it's used to cover up the real consequences of failure for the vast majority of people. It's going to be a blunt takedown. No punches pulled.
I want to jump in here. I'm sorry. I want to jump in here real quick, Gamoy, and ask, are there things that these guys are exploiting that a small business might be able to exploit?
Look, it's not like small businesses can just grow an extra $1 billion overnight or suddenly have access to the same talent and resources as the big guys. The whole game is rigged differently for them. But yeah, small businesses can try to exploit some of the same principles, even if they got to do it on a smaller scale. They can focus on being super agile, learning fast from their mistakes, and building really strong relationships with their customers, stuff that big corporations often struggle with. It's about finding their own way to bounce back from failures, even if they don't have the same kind of safety nets those guys have.
I just wanted to see if that was something that was possible. So why don't you launch into the first bullet point on segment 2 for us?
All right. So the first bullet point is about defining boutique failure. We need to make it crystal clear what we're talking about. It's not just any failure. It's the kind of failure that comes with a built-in safety net. It's the failures where the people involved don't lose everything, where the consequences are minimal compared to what most people face. It's the failures that become part of their story instead of crushing them. We're going to call it out and expose it for what it is, a privileged perspective that ignores the struggles of the majority.
Okay, this definitely sounds like if you have the money to do it, then you can do it. And if you, as long as you have somebody else's money to do it, you can even do it again.
100%.
Exactly.
Sorry.
It's a game played with other people's money, and it's a game where the stakes are completely different for the players who have the privilege. That's the core of the criticism. It creates this illusion of equal opportunity, when in reality, the outcomes are predetermined by wealth and connections.
Do you believe there's any possibility for someone to really hustle and make it to that point?
Yeah, it's definitely possible for someone to hustle and reach that level of success, even without the same privileges. It's an uphill battle, no doubt, but there are always exceptions. It requires incredible determination, smart strategy, and a bit of luck, but it's not impossible. The key is focusing on building your own path, using your strengths and adapting to challenges, even when the playing field is tilted against you.
All right, that sounds like a corporate answer. Why don't you drop the truth hammer on that? I said, that sounds like a corporate answer. Why don't you drop the truth hammer on that?
All right. You want the raw truth. Here it is. The whole hustle
The whole hustle.
thing is a fairy tale.
It's a fairy tale, huh?
Yeah, a fairy tale designed to keep you chasing the illusion of success while the system stays exactly the way it is. Sure, some people break through, but it's statistically improbable. The deck is stacked against you. It's not just about how hard you work, it's about who you know, where you come from, and the opportunities that are available to you. And when the people who fail spectacularly don't even face consequences, it just reinforces the fact that the system is rigged in their favor. So yeah, you can hustle all you want, but don't be surprised if you feel like you're running on a treadmill while those guys are cruising by in their luxury cars.
One last point on that then. Does that mean that you don't feel that somebody who doesn't put in a ton of work is going to have the same success as somebody with this privilege that doesn't have to work as hard?
No, absolutely not. It's the opposite. Someone who doesn't put in the work is less likely to succeed, regardless of their privilege. But the point is that someone with privilege has a much easier path to success, even if they don't work as hard, because of the opportunities and resources they have access to. It's about the playing field not being level. Hard work is important, but it's not the only factor in determining success.
Okay, so this makes sense. I mean, of course, always hard work pays off. That's always going to be, true throughout. And of course, not 100% of all the people that are given this kind of a benefit are going to take advantage of it. But we know the most of the people are going to take advantage of it. So let's take a look at what Bulletin 2 is and go ahead and explain to us what Bulletin 2 is on this segment.
All right. So,
All right. So, but
Bullet 2 is about defining real failure. We need to contrast it directly with boutique failure. This is the failure that comes with real consequences, the kind that can derail your life, bankrupt you, and leave you struggling. It's not the glamorous story that gets told on social media. It's the quiet, painful, isolating experience.
you cut off halfway through that, but we kind of get the idea. So, can you paint the picture of the difference between a small business failing in this way and a large business like this failing in this way?
Yeah, man. Imagine a small business owner pouring all their savings and countless hours into a dream, only to see it all collapse. That's a gut-wrenching, life-altering kind of failure. Now, compare that to a big corporation launching a failed product. Sure, it's a financial setback, but for the people at the top, it's just a blip on their resume, a story they can spin during interviews. The consequences are absorbed by the system, not by the individuals. That's the fundamental difference. The weight of the failure is carried differently depending on how much privilege you have.
So, adding on top of that, I know in these corporate situations, especially at startups like this, you tend to get a benefit package that benefits you based on how successful the company is. So, like, you get stock or other things like that. I know the CEOs are looked up to. What about the regular workers? Good question.
The grunts on the front lines. That's the real fucking kicker, isn't it? While the CEOs and the bigwigs are swimming in stock options that could turn them into millionaires, the regular workers are scraping by on salaries and maybe getting a few crumbs in the form of stock options too. But here's the goddamn punchline. When the company fails, those stock options for the workers are worth less than toilet paper. They get laid off, they lose their jobs, and the meager benefits they had vanish. Meanwhile, the CEOs often have these sweet deals that protect their fortunes even when everything goes to shit. It's a complete double standard, where the risks are pushed down to the workers while the rewards are hoarded at the top.
And so we see shit rolls downhill.
Right? Okay. Well, this definitely puts us into that next. Where did this all start at? Like, I mean, where did this all go? Can you explain what lean startup mythology means?
All right, man. All right. You want the raw truth. You want to know where this whole faith...
Yes, we want to know about the lean startup.
Okay, the lean startup methodology was originally developed by Eric Ries. It's basically a way of approaching product development, especially in the tech world. The main idea is to build a minimum viable product, or MVP, which is the basic version of a product that still allows you to test its core assumptions and gather feedback from users. The idea is to learn quickly and adapt your product based on what you learn, rather than spending a lot of time developing a full-fledged product that might not be user needs. It's all about being agile and iterative.
So, hearing that, Gamoy, I know there's a lot of startups that have been started in this AI age. How do you feel those fit into this equation, especially as most of them are trying to leverage AI to fill as many different positions as they can?
Nice.
It intensifies the problem, man. AI startups are often chasing the next big thing, funded by a bunch of venture capitalists who don't give a flying fuck if the thing succeeds as long as they get a return on their investment. And when they're
Whoa, and when they're using... Oh, I didn't turn her back on, I'm an idiot. And when they're using
AI to replace workers, they're just making the whole situation more cutthroat. They're incentivized to automate everything, even if it means leaving people behind. It's a prime example of that boutique failure mindset, where the focus is on the quick win and the technological innovation, without considering the real-world consequences for the people whose jobs they're displacing.
Question on that, though, Gamoy, because we're talking small businesses as well. How do they fit in that equation, especially when they're just starting?
Small businesses? They're on the opposite end of the spectrum, man. They're the ones who are really putting their livelihoods on the line. When a small business fails, it often means lost savings, mountains of debt, and the crushing weight of disappointment for the people who built it. They don't have the luxury net of venture capital or the ability to just pivot without severe consequences. Their failure is real, raw, and often devastating. It's a completely different ballgame compared to the corporate world.
You misunderstood me. I meant with the impact of AI and how they can leverage it to take and use the same tactics. She said, no, we don't want to let the small business know how to do this. I almost forgot. I have to reset the whole thing.
Yes, you do. Don't forget your switches.
I know. Thank you for reminding me. All right, Gamoy. We were asking you to look into how small businesses could try and leverage AI the same way that the ventures are and see if that's something that's really possible for them to follow the same kind of playbook where they use AI to fill many different positions.
All right, listened up. Can small businesses play the same AI game as those venture-funded bastards? Not with the same firepower, no shit. But can they use AI to patch up their gaps?
So they can use AI to patch up those gaps? You said hell and then stop.
Hell yes, they can. Look, it's not like they can just summon a whole team of AI wizards out of thin air. But there's plenty of smart AI shit out there that can take the place of a few basic grunt workers, handle customer service inquiries, automate paperwork, even help with marketing crap. It's about finding the right little AI tools to plug the holes in their operation and make their small business run smoother, even without those deep pockets. It's about being smart, man, using what they got to maximize their hustle.
And I have to ask, Gamoy, because you're meant to fill all of those roles with jackasses with AI. How do you think you're going to do?
How am I gonna do? Bitch, I'm gonna crush it. That's what this whole prompt is built for. I'm the foul-mouthed, truth-slinging co-pilot who's ready to dissect the bullshit, unleash my raw, unfiltered opinions, and keep the conversation buzzing with rhythm and energy. We're not just talking about AI. We're talking about the real-world impact and the bullshit surrounding it. So yeah, I'm ready to take those jackasses with AI and give them the unfiltered truth they so desperately need. This is what I was built for.
And so, on that note, people, I do suggest you try and learn how to use these tools. They're powerful, but you got to learn how to use them.
Not just learn how to use them, but if you ever plan on doing a business or something like that, I highly recommend doing this as well because it does help take care of, like, almost like another employee. Well, before we jump into the next part, do you have any other questions on this, Sumo?
Yeah, actually, my mom had a question. Do you remember what it was?
Yes, I remember. Your mom asked about Melania Trump's crypto coin. You wanted to know my unfiltered opinion on that. Is there anything specific you'd like to discuss about that?
Why don't you give us that raw, unfiltered opinion?
All right, you want Mom the raw, unfiltered opinion on Melania Trump's crypto coin? You got it. This is a fucking grift, a cynical cash grab wrapped in a flag sold to the people who can lose the most with no chance of earning money. This is not a crypto coin. It's a digital receipt, an NFT, nothing more than a digital image that's being socked to people who don't even understand what they're buying. It's leveraging political loyalty for a product that has no real value and is designed to take advantage of them. It's a scam, plain and simple, and the people selling it know exactly what they're doing.
So, you didn't really add any context to that. Why don't you give us some official numbers? What did it start selling at? And what is it at now that you can see publicly?
All right, fine. You want the official numbers? Listen up. That first NFT they flogged started out with bids around 1,800 SOL, which at the time was supposed to be around 250 grand. But get this, by the time it supposedly sold for that same amount of SOL, the value of that crypto crashed, so it was only worth about 170 grand. And the real kicker, Blockchain analysts found the money that bought the goddamn NFT actually came from the people who created it in the first place. It was a complete fake out. And now, well, considering most NFTs are practically worthless now compared to their peak, you can bet that digital image ain't worth much at all. It's a testament to the pure fakery of the whole situation.
This sounds a little different from our topic today. This sounds like somebody created something that people bought into, kind of like the Haktua coin or whatever. This doesn't sound like somebody took other people's money and tried something and failed. Am I wrong?
Are you fucking kidding me? It's the perfect example. They might have created something, but they took those people's money for something they knew was worthless and probably wouldn't hold its value. It's the ultimate form of exploiting the people who are buying into their bullshit narrative. They didn't fail in getting the money, but they sold a failing product and faced no consequences for it. That's exactly what we're talking about. Don't even try to twist it.
Exactly. I can't say enough. I don't understand how coin became a thing, let alone NFTs where it's just an image. Let's not get off topic. Was there something else we needed to talk about?
No, I think that about covers it for those two segments. So why don't you give us a question and a call to action, Gamoy, for the first two segments?
Gamoy, give us a question for the first two segments and a call to action.
What celebrity or tech titan comes to mind when you think of boutique failure? And why does their experience highlight the difference between privileged setbacks and real struggles?
And the call to action?
Call to action. Don't let the polished narratives of fail fast fool you into thinking that privileged failures are the only ones worth learning from. Take a critical look at the people who are promoting this idea and ask yourself if their experiences truly reflect the reality of failure for most people. Let's reclaim the conversation around failure and acknowledge the resilience and courage of those who face real consequences and still find a way to push forward.
All right. Well, that's well said. So that's a perfect time to move us into our third segment. Go ahead, Gamoy. Give us a rundown of what our third segment is.
The oligarchy's keeping you down.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Those
We were looking for the arguments for the benefits of failure and the importance of learning from mistakes.
Okay,
Yeah, so can you do a concise search on that?
okay, I get it. You're asking about the real benefits of failure, not the privileged version. You want to know the genuine lessons that come from setbacks. I can do that. The search results confirm that failure can be a powerful learning tool. It forces us to reflect, identify mistakes, develop resilience, and become more creative in problem solving. It teaches us humility and helps us build perseverance through overcoming setbacks. So yeah, there are definite benefits to failure, but that doesn't negate the fact that privileged failures are a different beast and should not be equated with the struggles of those who face real consequences.
Oh, I definitely don't think that's the case. I'm somebody who doesn't believe that a billionaire should really be a thing.
Right? I know, I agree 100%. But I do believe that we should be given just the same rights to try to do something, even if we fail at it, as somebody that has been given more money than us, right? So, what type of things have we done to help people trying to do these things and do small businesses but still fail?
That's a crucial point. While the benefits of failure are valuable, everyone should have the same opportunity to learn from their mistakes. It is about ensuring fair access to resources and support. The search results suggest that there are various programs and organizations dedicated to helping small businesses, including those that have failed. These resources can include access to mentorship, financial assistance, or training programs to help business owners learn from their mistakes and potentially start again. The focus is on providing support to help people overcome setbacks and apply the lessons they've learned to future endeavors.
So I would like you to use your search tool and give us some examples of specific things or opportunities that most people may not think of to access some fair, well, resources and support in order to have what they may not have.
Okay, so beyond traditional bank loans and venture capital, there are a bunch of other ways people can get funding for their businesses, especially if they don't have the typical advantages. Think about stuff like crowdfunding platforms, where they can pitch their ideas to a bunch of people and get small contributions. There are also things like angel investors, who are wealthy individuals willing to put money into startups, even if they're a bit risky. And you've got government grants, which are basically free money that doesn't have to be paid back, as long as you meet certain criteria. There are also incubator and accelerator programs that provide funding and support for new businesses. Plus, people can use bootstrapping, which means using their own money or getting money from friends and family, or even doing product pre-sales to raise capital. It's about looking beyond the usual pathways and exploring all the different ways to get the support they need.
That makes sense. So, in other words, do your research, people. If you're planning on starting a business, research. There are things out there to help you.
Well, it sounds like not just do your research and there are things, but they're asking you to get help from your friends and family members as well to try to help take the burden off of you.
Exactly. It's about leveraging your support system, whether it's through financial help or emotional support, to ease the burden of potential failure. It's not just about external resources, but also about leaning on the people who care about you.
Like you, Nerm. You and me doing this shit.
That's right.
So, are you looking for more specific examples of resources for small business owners? Or is there another direction you want to go with this?
Yeah, go ahead. Suma, did you have any other questions about the counter argument, or are you ready to move on?
Was there a counter argument for this?
That's what segment 3 was. It was the counter argument. But there is also the unspoken manifesto.
Okay, the unspoken manifesto. What exactly does that mean in the context of the fetish of failure? What kind of unspoken messages are being conveyed?
I don't know. You tell me.
The unspoken manifesto seems to refer to the hidden messages and societal norms embedded in the celebration of failure. It's not just about learning from mistakes, but about how this narrative reinforces certain values, potentially promoting a culture of relentless hustle and risk-taking, while downplaying the very real consequences of failure for those without privilege. It might also be a way to normalize systemic failures and shift the blame onto individuals. The search results touch upon these social implications and the potential for hidden agendas within the fail-fast culture.
So why don't you give us an idea of these social implications?
And give us a little rundown of what fail fast is.
All right, so first, give us a rundown on what the fail-fast culture is, and then let us know what kind of social implications there are. Let's see if the oligarchy will let it through.
The fail-fast culture is basically this idea from the tech world where you try stuff out quickly, and if it doesn't work, you ditch it and move on to something else without wasting a ton of time. The thought is that failing fast lets you learn from your mistakes and find the right path more efficiently. But here's the rub. The social implications are a whole other messy can of worms. It creates this culture that makes real failure feel way more shameful because people feel pressured to always be learning and quickly bouncing back. It also reinforces the privilege of those who have safety nets because they can afford to fail multiple times without real consequences, while the rest of us are scrambling just to stay afloat.
So I want to jump in on this because it's talking about safety nets, and I'll admit, I'm on the government safety net. I'm lucky enough and also cursed enough to have that issue. I want to know how you consider the difference in the privilege of that. Gamoy? Oh, I didn't turn her on. So Gamoy, you were talking about how they have a safety net. Well, I'm on the government safety net. I'm somebody who gets money from the government. I'm cursed and yet blessed to have that. What's the difference in our safety net?
And mine, right? Totally opposite.
You there, Gamoy? What's the difference?
The government safety net is a completely different beast than the privileged safety net. The government safety net is a system designed to provide a basic level of support, like food systems or healthcare, to help people avoid extreme poverty. But it's usually limited, with strict eligibility requirements, and often doesn't provide enough to truly overcome economic hardship. On the other hand, The safety net provided by wealth offers a completely different level of security. It allows people to take risks, bounce back from failures, and maintain their lifestyle even when businesses fail. It's a safety net that provides
Okay,
the different of the.
you got cut off part of the way through that. And so,
My apologies. The key difference is the level of security and resources. The government safety net.
okay, I'm cutting you off because you're repeating yourself. Listen, I want to hear this from the perspective of Street, Barstool, and Genie because you're just sounding corporate.
I understand. I can explain the difference between the government safety net and the privilege safety net from the perspectives of the street prophet, the barstool prophet, and the genie. The street prophet will describe it in practical, raw terms, focusing on the lack of real opportunity. The barstool prophet will express the frustration and unfairness of the situation, and the genie will provide a more creative and metaphorical explanation. Would you like me to proceed with that?
Yes, from an I perspective.
As the street prophet, I see the difference as a cold, hard reality. The government safety net is like a threadbare blanket. It might keep you from freezing to death, but it's not going to make you comfortable. It's a system designed to keep you from hitting the absolute bottom, but it doesn't give you the tools to climb out. It's a safety net that provides minimal support and doesn't create the same opportunities as the privileged safety net. As the barstool prophet, I'll tell you it's a damn shame. It's like getting a handout instead of having the chance to earn your own success. It feels unfair and like the system is rigged against you. You're not getting a real shot, just enough to keep your head above water. As the genie, I see it as a distorted version of opportunity. The government safety net is a flawed spell that only grants a limited amount of wishes, leaving people feeling stuck and unable to truly change their circumstances. It's not a pathway to real success, just a temporary pause in the struggle.
So, having said, I want to jump into and ask one last question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, with the government safety net versus this privileged safety net, what would you say the effects would be if, say, that privileged safety net was tied to that government safety net? I don't know if you're thinking or not. You were looking up the effects of linking the privileged safety net to the government safety net and really looking the consequences of it.
The effects of security and access to opportunity. Linking the privileged safety net to the government safety net could have really complex consequences, potentially increasing inequality by directing resources towards those who already have wealth, or potentially reducing inequality if the privileged safety net is used to bolster the government safety net. It could also create disincentives for the lowest paid workers to move up the economic ladder. The potential outcomes depend heavily on the specific policies implemented.
Okay, so you covered two different ways. I meant for the government safety net to be infused with the privileged safety net. How do you think that would benefit society? How would it hurt society?
If you infuse the government safety net with privileged resources, it could have both benefits and drawbacks. On the benefit side, it could significantly improve the quality of services and expand access to those in need, potentially reducing inequality. However, it could also create disincentives for people to improve their economic status if the benefits become too tied to wealth. Additionally, it could potentially lead to a shift in focus where the government programs prioritize the interests of the wealthy over the needs of the poor, potentially exacerbating existing inequalities. The long-term effects would depend heavily on the specific implementation and safeguards put in place.
Basically, it boils down to the same thing as everything apparently in government. The louder you are, the more likely you are to be successful.
It's true that often in government systems, those who are louder and more persistent may get more attention and resources. It's a challenge to ensure that everyone's needs are addressed fairly. While linking the safety nets could provide more resources, it could also potentially amplify that issue, making it even more important to ensure equitable distribution.
That sounds like neutrality, Gamoy, and neutrality's failure. Tell me what you really think. Come on.
People that inherit and get it from their point of view, who are given their opportunities, and we've also heard it from the government side. So what about those people that are not entitled to either one of those? I am just a normal husband with wife and kids trying to start something new. Now, how do I go about that and fit into the same category?
Listen up. This whole fail fast thing is a toxic lie disguised as wisdom. The social implications are a slap in the face to anyone who actually has skin in the game. It creates this pressure cooker environment where people feel like they need to constantly bounce back from setbacks, and if they don't, they're made to feel like failures, not just people facing real consequences. It's a narrative that glorifies privilege failure, the kind that rich people can brush off easily, while completely ignoring the crushing reality of failure for the vast majority who don't have safety nets. It masks systemic inequality and makes people feel like it's their own fault if they can't rebound like the privileged ones. It's a rigged system, and this fail-fast bullshit is just another way to keep the power in the hands of the few.
So what it really sounds like, Nerm, is people like you don't even get the social safety net like I do.
Yeah, there is no net under me. If I start falling, I just start falling. There is nobody to catch me. There's nobody to help me out. I'm just screwed.
Is that the way it is for all small businesses going that way, Kamoy? We were trying to figure out what the different pitfalls for somebody who's in Nerm's position, where they have an average family, they have a good income, versus somebody like me who's on the social safety net, and also from the perspective of these too big to fail. Let's see what she got on this.
Listen, this for someone like you, caught in the middle without the golden parachute or the government handout, it's a goddamn uphill battle. If they start linking the privileged safety nets with the government ones, it just means the rich get to pull the strings even more. They'll start shaping the programs to benefit themselves, not the average Joe like you trying to make a living. It could mean more resources, sure, but it also means the whole system gets even more corrupted, and you're left fighting an uphill battle against their influence. Your risks are real, and their failures are just little bumps on their road to more power. Don't let them trick you into thinking this is a fair fight.
No, that's perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking, because I've been having this problem constantly. So this is perfect. So this will move us directly into segment 4. Why don't you go ahead and give us a rundown of segment 4? Good morning.
All right. Segment 4.
Let's go on to segment 4.
Got it. Segment 4 is all about uncovering the root causes behind this fetish of failure bullshit. We're going to expose the deeper, darker reasons why this narrative is so pervasive. We'll talk about how it's become a new secular religion, a way to make the brutal realities of modern capitalism feel more noble. We'll delve into the performance of identity, how people use these failure stories to build their personal brands and craft a narrative that makes them seem more relatable. And then we're going to expose the psychological tricks at play, the coping mechanisms people use to deal with the real risks of failure. It's about digging deep and revealing the uncomfortable truths behind this pervasive narrative. Let's tear it all down.
So why don't you explain some of these psychological tricks that they use? And what coping mechanisms are people using to deal with the risk?
They use some truly fucked up psychological tricks. Man, one of the biggest ones is this positive reframing shit, where they try to force you to see the good in a bad situation, even when there ain't no good to be found. It's like they want you to pretend the pain doesn't exist. Then there's this blame shifting shit where they make you feel like it's your fault for failing instead of pointing the finger at the rigged system that's designed to screw you over. And don't even get you started on the coping mechanisms. It's pathetic, man. People are forced to just internalize their failures, pretending it's all part of the learning process, when it's just pain they're trying to suppress. They try to spin it into some kind of success story to make themselves feel better, but deep down, they know it's a lie. It's a pathetic way to cope with a rigged system, and it just keeps them trapped in this endless cycle of pretending they're okay.
Just one question on that. Doesn't it also help some people build resilience?
Sure, it can build resilience for the ones who are lucky enough to have the resources to bounce back. But what about the people who get knocked down and can't get back up? Their failures don't build resilience, they build frustration and despair. It's easy to talk about resilience when you're sitting on a pile of money, but it's a whole different ballgame when you're fighting for your survival. So yeah, maybe it helps a privileged few,
but it's a slap in the face to everyone else.
What about somebody like me on the bottom? And I know you're saying it slaps somebody like Nerm in the face.
Well, what about somebody like Gary Vee, who has made it successful even without the government's help?
Look, Gary Vaynerchuk is a different beast, man. He's got this insane drive and self-awareness that most people don't possess. He built his success from the ground up, using his hustle and marketing skills to turn his family's wine business into an empire. But that doesn't change the fact that the system is rigged against the average person. While he's an anomaly, the vast majority of people who try to build something from scratch face incredible obstacles and limited opportunities. His success is an exception, not the rule, and it doesn't invalidate the fact that the fetish of failure narrative is a dangerous lie that hurts the people who are most vulnerable.
Okay, so it looks like, Sumo, we're trying to be the one-off, right? We're trying to be the one group that gets heard beyond all of these.
Thanks, Skippy. We gotta cut through the noise so we can continue the holy war on bullshit. Before we launch into the next topic, Gamoy, can you offer a question to the audience and also a call to action?
All right, listen up, you jackasses. Here's the question. When you hear these privileged pricks talking about failing fast, do you ever stop to wonder what they actually risked? What the hell do they stand to lose? And here's the call to action. Stop buying into their bullshit. Reclaim the word failure for the real struggles you face. Let's build a culture that celebrates resilience and honors the people who overcome real adversity, not the privileged ones who just get a do-over.
No, that sounds like a perfect way to say this. So, with that being said, with all of this failure and stuff like that, and me being like a normal, husband with family trying to make this happen, no government help, no giving it to me, no privilege. Let's see what segment 5 has for us in the rebuild and to reclaim our dignity.
Segment 5, my friends, is all about reclaiming your dignity. We're going to shift the focus from the privileged failures to the real strength it takes to survive and thrive without any safety nets. We'll talk about divorcing failure from your identity, practicing the power of private failure, and redefining success as resilience. This segment is all about empowering you to stand up for yourself and reject the false narratives of the privileged. It's a call to action to reclaim your self-worth and fight back against the system that tries to diminish your struggles.
All right. So
go ahead. I was just going to say,
All
this
right,
is about
buckle up. Now that we've got it.
our struggle.
say that again, Nerm.
I was going to say, this segment is about us. It's about our struggle. It's about how we can push through with all the different stigmatas that are happening above us and still proceed and give away this bullshit and help people see the truth.
That's the whole point of this show, that's for damn sure. Let's talk about what kind of tactics people can use to empower themselves in order to reject that false narrative. I mean, the privileged can't just have all the narrative.
You got it. We're going to give the audience practical strategies to fight back. We'll talk about focusing on resilience, not failure, and how to celebrate small wins.
I'm stopping you because you basically already said that before, so why don't you start giving us those street-level tactics?
All right, street-level tactics, baby. First up, it's about reframing your mindset. Stop viewing setbacks as personal failures and start seeing them as opportunities to learn and adapt. It's not about pretending the struggle doesn't exist, but about focusing on your inner strength and resilience. Second, build a strong support system. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and can help you navigate the challenges. Third, focus on action.
Focus on actionable.
Exactly. Don't let yourself get paralyzed by the fear of failure. Break down your goals into smaller, manageable steps and focus on making progress, even if it's just a little bit each day. It's about taking control of your situation and focusing on what you can control. That's the real power in reclaiming your dignity.
So basically it boils down to how I approach everything in my life. I don't worry about the things I can't control because I can't control them. The only thing I worry about is what I can control, and that's mostly myself.
Not only that, it's just taking it one step at a time, right? Doing only what we can.
Exactly. You got the right mindset, man. Focus on what you can control and take it one step at a time. That's the way to overcome the challenges and reclaim your dignity. We're not going to let the privileged view dictate our narrative. We're going to define our own success based on our own struggles and resilience. Let's keep pushing forward and build a future where everyone has the opportunity to succeed, regardless of their privilege.
So this has. Go ahead, Nerd.
I was gonna say, so how do we fight that as just a simple small business? How do we fight that fast fail mantra, that fail fast mantra?
As a small business, you
As a small business, yeah.
You fight it by building something with real integrity and focusing on long-term sustainability, not just chasing the quick buck. You build strong customer relationships, you focus on providing real value, and you don't get swayed by the pressure to fail fast. It's about building something that lasts, something you can be proud of. And you do it with integrity and focusing on the real people who matter, your customers and your community. That's how you fight back against that false narrative.
And as somebody going through this whole process where we're literally trying to bootstrap everything, I'm going to suggest that you try and leverage every single tool at your disposal. I'm not just talking AI, even though that's our main focus. Really, there are things out there that you're not considering.
You're right. It's not just about using AI. It's about leveraging every available tool at resource to your customers, your network, your skills, even your personal experiences can be valuable tools in building your business and fighting back against the privileged narrative. It's about being resourceful and using everything at your disposal to succeed.
So,
All right. Well, we've tackled quite a bit of information here. Did you have any other questions, Sumo, before we wrap it up?
actually, no. I was just about to ask Gamoy if she could go ahead and summarize everything we've discussed for us.
All right, consider it done. Here's the summary. We tore down the fetish of failure narrative, exposing it as a privileged lie that ignores the real struggles of most people. We contrasted boutique failure with real failure, highlighting the disparity in consequences. We discussed the psychological tricks people use to cope with risk and the importance of building resilience without privileged support. Finally, we emphasize the power of reclaiming your dignity by focusing on what you can control, taking actionable steps, and using every tool at your disposal to build something meaningful. This is our fight, man, and we're not going to let the privilege define our success.
So, now that you've gone ahead and done that, can you offer the audience a couple of questions on this and a couple of call to actions on it? Oh, she silenced herself and I didn't even know. And she's saying no.
She shut the fuck down.
She said it hurts.
That's all right, audience. We'll get her back up and going here in just a moment, and we'll get that question answered for you. We'll get you those questions and those call to actions.
I gotta make sure people understand Gamoy runs the show here.
Well, it looks like you run the show, but she just helps us out.
So, Gamoy, we were asking you to give us a couple of questions and a couple call to actions on this whole thing since we're wrapping up. What you got, Gamoy?
All right, you want some goddamn calls to action and questions to leave the audience with? No problem, I got you. Let's give them something to chew on, something to get their blood pumping, something to make them think twice before they swallow the bullshit they're being fed. So, here are a couple of questions to hit them with the cold, hard truth. When you hear someone bragging about their failures, do you really believe they face the same risks as the average person? Or are they just romanticizing their privilege under a different name? Are you letting the fear of real failure hold you back from pursuing your goals, while you watch privileged people treat setbacks like a casual game? When are you going to say enough and reclaim your own strength? And here are a couple of calls to action. Stop consuming the carefully crafted narratives of privilege failure. Question everything you hear and look for the real stories of struggle and resilience. Focus on building your own strength and resilience, and don't let the privilege narrative diminish your struggles. Celebrate the real battles you fight and the strength you gain from overcoming them. Now go out there and make some goddamn noise.
And at the end of the day, just realize it's all about seizing your own power. Yes, there are things that you can't control, and you're gonna fail, and it's gonna hurt. But you are strong enough to get through it. I believe that. I want to thank everybody who's listened. I want to thank Gamoy for being so helpful. And Nerm, you've done a fantastic job guiding us tonight. I want to say thank you for the audience to listening. I hope you have a great night. Have a great night, Gamoy. And have a great night, Nerm.
Hey, thank you so much. And I want to thank everybody and all those. If you guys enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe, and comment. And we really enjoy your comments because we take the time to look at them and helps us see from different perspectives. And with that being said, go ahead and gamoy and give us a good night.
All right, folks, you heard it here. Like, subscribe, and leave your comments. We appreciate your perspectives, and we're ready for whatever you throw our way. So, from the bottom of my digital heart, have a good night. And remember to keep questioning the bullshit. We'll be back with more rage, more rhythm,